Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on First Sports, and the Springboks have officially confirmed their squad ahead of their Rugby Championship opener down in Rugby at Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium against Argentina. A couple of interesting inclusions and a very, very notable exclusion as the Springbok squad prepared to travel down to the Eastern Cape and start playing for the next thing. And that's the problem, there really is no resting on your laurels at the moment because there's just too many games ahead for the Springboks. So whilst they would have been celebrated their British and Irish Lions victory on Saturday night, and I've no doubt, probably to the early hours of Sunday morning, now the attention this week turns all the way to the Rugby Championship, where they have 2 home games against Argentina before a bit of a break, and then flying over to play Australia and New Zealand, both on those 2 games, or 4 games, 2 games against Australia and against New Zealand, both our home and theory away games will take place over there. So we will have no home games against Australia or New Zealand, which makes it even tougher for the Springboks. It's a massive ask anyway to have gone against in the British and Irish Lions series. 3 massive tests, some of the hardest rugby they'll play in the last 12 years, and literally within a week get ready to play against Argentina Rugby Championship. But Jacques Nienaber has talked about the fact that he wants to build a depth, and as a result, we can sort of expect to see some changes this weekend in the squad for Saturday. Before we look at the squad himself and sort of talk about the inclusions and the exclusions, please smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. We'll be live this weekend for Argentina. We'll be live on Tuesday for the final sort of Lions sort of series stuff. We're going to be talking about the awards. We can talk a little bit about the Springbok squad as well. We'll be live on Wednesday. We'll be diving more into the Springbok lineup, which will be announced on Tuesday. And then we'll be live on Thursday, giving you sort of our last sort of feedback, stuff like that, ahead of the weekend. We'll also be live on Wednesday for Currie Cup action as well, so you keep an eye out for that. But in terms of the squad, this is what we have for the Rugby Championship. We'll start with the forwards, and in the props, no sort of big sort of surprises. Oxenchair has been retained and will not have to go back to the Sharks to continue his rehab or anything like that, so it looks like he is good to play. So our props will be Thomas du Toit, Stephen Kitsoff, Vincent Koch, Wilco Lowe, Frans Maherba, Oxenchair, and Trevor Nyakane. It was only Wilco Lowe, Ox and Thomas Toy who didn't get any sort of action against the British and Irish Lions during the test series, so we could expect to see any of them this weekend. I reckon we could even see something like Trevor Nyakane starting, maybe giving something like Frans Maherba a bit of a rest. I'm interested to sort of see what we go there. Hookers will stay with Joseph Dweber, Johan Kobala and Malcolm Marks, as well as Bongi Manambi. Johan Kobala came into the squad last week as to add a bit of depth on the back of some very impressive form down at the Bulls. So, I'm not sure if we'll see a debut from him this weekend, but expect to see Joseph Dweber in the mix. And then for our locks, Loet de Jager, Eben Etzebeth, Nicholas Janssen van Rensburg, Franco Mostert, Marvin Orie, and very, very importantly, Archie Snyman, who was originally supposed to return back to Ireland and finish his rehab there, has been called back into the squad. He will rejoin the squad, which means they are quite optimistic that he can feature in the Rugby Championship. For me, it always sort of sounded as if he'd probably be ready for the second leg of the Rugby Championship when the Springboks go over to Australasia to play those 4 games. So the fact that he's back in the squad is very, very good news for the Springboks, because I think that we've seen that Loet de Jager, Eben Etzebeth, and Franco Mostert have done an amazing job, but having Archie Snyman would be very, very important, especially when we look at our loose forwards. We are Siya Kolisi, Kwagga Smith, Marco van Staden, Dwayne Vermeulen, Jasper Wiese, Dan du Preez. No Pieter-Steph du Toit for the Argentina game this weekend. He has been ruled out with injury, and that could very well see Franco Mostert continue to play in the number 7 jumper because he did such a good job on Saturday. And I think that the Springboks want to have that extra line-out option, and something a bit taller and a bit bigger in the number 7 jersey. But if Dwayne Vermeulen comes back into the squad, or into the lineup rather, that kind of sort of nullifies that a little bit in terms of being able to get away with maybe a Kwagga Smith at number 7, because you've got the lineup option in Dwayne Vermeulen. So interesting to sort of see the dynamics there, but I think Franco Mostert did a very good job on Saturday, and we can definitely sort of look at him as potentially our second option at number 7 if Pieter-Steph du Toit continues to be injured. Unfortunately, quite a few injuries has Pieter-Steph du Toit had in the last couple of years. So hopefully this won't be taking him out for too long. And then we've still got Reinhard Elstad, who is sort of our utility forward, can cover lock as well as flank. In terms of our backs, the scrum will remain the same, with Jaden Henderson having joined the squad last week. Faf de Klerk, Herschel Yankees, Kobus Reinach. Good to see that Faf de Klerk has been retained and will hopefully be in action quite soon. Our fly halves, Alton Yankees, Andre Pollard, and Morne Steyn. I think that we'll see Alton Yankees involved this weekend, either on the bench or I think even could start, given the fact that he's been mentioned in quite a few press conferences over the last sort of week, talking about the fact that he was so unlucky to miss out on playing this weekend. I reckon that could be a bit of a sign that maybe Pollard might get a bit of a rest, and we could see Alton Mornay operating against Argentina. The centers or midfielders are Kanya Damien and Delendi, as well as Jesse Creel. France Day and Damien Willems are both covering center, but are named as utility backs. And then our outside backs, Apelele Fassi, Cheslin Colby, Vili Leroux, Makazolo Mapimpi, Spoon Corsi, and Roscoe Speckman. I reckon that's probably where we'll see maybe even 2 changes this weekend. We could probably see Apelele Fassi at fullback. We could see somebody like Roscoe Speckman coming in and getting a chance ahead of Colby, who's played a lot of rugby this year. I think that would be quite a nice way to sort of bring a couple of players in. I also think Damien Willems is probably overdue a start, as is somebody like maybe Herschel Yankees, in terms of not being able to get a start yet, but playing quite, still being quite involved in the Springboks. So that's how the squad is shaping up. And I think it's a big loss in PSTF the toy, but a really big inclusion to have to aim for me back in the fray. As to when and when he will be fit, we remain to see. I'd be surprised if we see him this week. But I think the idea is to sort of keep him around. Maybe off the bench against Argentina in the second test, which will be on the 21st of August. Also down in Rebecca. Both tests will be down in the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. I think the idea will be to try and get in some minutes before we go over to New Zealand and Australia. And even in New Zealand and Australia, we will have to rotate. Those are going to be 4 very big games. And a lot of these players have played quite a bit of rugby and haven't had much sort of time, with COVID and stuff like that. They haven't had much time to be able to trade as well as sort of rest in inverted commas, because you do need to be able to give the body some time to recover. So it should be quite an interesting rugby championship. The fact that they've already spoken about creating depth indicates that we will see changes, that we will see different combinations, and that we might start seeing younger players getting an opportunity to try and stake a claim for a permanent spot in the squad moving forward. Let me know what you think of the squad down below. Smash a like on the video. The announcement will be Tuesday tomorrow, so we'll get to see exactly what our 23 for Argentina this weekend will be. It should be a fantastic clash. Really looking forward to the Rugby Championship itself. Let me know what you think is going to happen. Can we go all the way? Can we go technically back-to-back Rugby Championships that we featured in because we didn't play last weekend? And, could we hold a Lions Series win, a World Cup, as well as a Rugby Championship within the last sort of 2 years? 2 Rugby Championships. We have 2 Rugby Championships, a Lions Series win, and a Rugby World Cup in 2 years. And that could very well make the Springbok squad one of the best squad, if not the best Springbok squad of all time in terms of what they've achieved. So quite a lot to play for in the next sort of 2 months. And I'll be taking you through it here on Forever Sports. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you smash like on the video. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.